Hello friends, welcome here, welcome back. My name is Michaela. I'm a wife, a mom, and a knitter from British Columbia, Canada, and this is Galanthus Knits. Hello, happy official summer. We are in July now. Today is the 1st of July, which means for us in Canada, it is Canada Day, our national holiday, our national celebration of our country day. And yeah, it's I'm not really doing anything for this day. We have the day off, like my husband has the day off, so he has taken our daughter out for a bike ride so that I can film this video, which is really fun. So yeah, I think I'll just putt around in the garden a little bit in the afternoon and see how much editing I can get done. But that's pretty much what my Canada Day will look like. I don't tend to attend the firework celebrations because it's just a little bit too loud and a little bit too many people for my taste. Like, I'd rather celebrate in a more quiet, reflective way than in a loud party way. I hope that you've all had a good June. I just got back from France. We went on a 2.5-week trip to France for a wedding, and we were in 3 different areas of the country. So I will talk a little bit more about that at the end because I did go into a few yarn shops that I want to just talk to you about. Which was really fun, and I bought some yarn, so I will show you all that at the end. So first I'm going to do my sort of what I'm working on, and then I will do the France stuff at the end. Okay, so for the month of June, I don't actually have any finished objects. I just have works in progresses. And then I have one very sad update to tell you. Sad, yeah, it is sad, but also like, well, I'll explain. The shawl that I knitted for my friend's wedding in France got ruined in the wash. So, ruined, it got felted. I did end up wearing it to the wedding. So this is what happened. I finished it. You saw it in my last video. It was gorgeous. The wedding day itself was about 33 degrees Celsius, so it was very, very hot. And I did bring it with me for the evening, just in case, but I was doubting that I'd be able to wear it. I did slip it on around 10 p.m., so I did wear it for a bit. I wore it for the speech that I did for the reception, and I really enjoyed wearing it, and quite a few people said that it looked lovely with my dress and whatever. I don't have any pictures from the wedding of me wearing it. I think that once they get their photos from the photographer for the wedding, that there may be some photos of me wearing it in there, so then I can put those in whenever those photos are ready. But I did wear it. I wore it for about 2 hours, I think, before I ended up going home. I did not stay till 4 a.m. Because my daughter is not even 2, and so she was with us. So we managed to stretch her to almost midnight, I think. But then we went home after that. Anyway, I wore it to the wedding. So that was the main goal, is wearing it to the wedding. When we got home from France, we were tired, we were jet lagged. We had just gone on a 9-hour plane journey and a 2-hour car ride with our toddler, and we just chucked everything in the washing machine, unfortunately. So it doesn't look terrible, I will give it that. It has been felted, and it's a lot smaller than it used to be. So you can kind of tell that the fibers are more melded together than they used to be. I don't know if you can tell on camera. You may not be able to tell, but it is a lot smaller. So when I wore it at the wedding, it went quite far and I could tie it in the front. Now it kind of just reaches. It's not terrible, to be honest. And it's, ooh, there's a bit of moss and twigs on it. It's served its purpose for what I needed it for, which was great. But now, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with it now. Maybe I'll just hang it up or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, I am sad about it. I am happy that I got to wear it for the purpose that I knitted it for, but I am sad that it kind of got a bit ruined when we got home. And this is the first time this has ever happened to me. I've never ever put any of my knits in the wash before. It did not go through the tumble dryer. It just went through the wash, but that was enough to do this to it. Yeah, so a bit of sad news, but I did wear it to the wedding, so that's also lovely. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about my whips. So I have 2 whips from the month of June, and one of them was my France trip knit that I brought with me, and then the other one was one that I casted on as soon as I got home. And I got home, what's today? Tuesday. So I got home not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before. So it's been like 9 days since I got home. So I'll show you my France whip first. Actually, I'll show you both at the same time because they're kind of the same. Ta-da! It's been a very stripy month. So let's talk about this one first. This is the Holger blouse, I think, by PetiteKnit. This one is the fingering weight version. So I think she has I don't even know. She has a bunch that are like Olga and Holger, and they're kind of the same. But there's one for kids that's in a DK weight, and there's one for kids that's in a fingering weight. And I did the fingering weight one. So this is 2 alpaca yarns, I believe, that I'm using. One of them might be Drops Flora, which I think is a alpaca and wool blend. And then the purple one is an alpaca that I picked up from my yarn shop when it was on sale about, I don't know, 10 or so months ago. I can't remember. But anyway, in the pattern pictures that PetiteKnit does, they only do the stripes for the main body and not for the sleeves, but I decided that I wanted both striped, so it was just like a fully purple striped sweater. And there's a few reasons why I decided to do this one for my France trip knit, and those were that it's on fingering weight, so I didn't have really any fear of finishing the project before the trip was over. It wasn't going to be too heavy or too bulky to bring with me anywhere because it's a kid knit and it's a lightweight. I could knit on it. I find knitting on fingering weight small projects during the summer totally fine, even if they're wool. So no matter how hot it got, and it got to about 35 degrees Celsius while we were in France, no matter how hot it got, I could manage to knit on this. Also, I figured that I could make it something that would be memorable for the trip. So I decided on stripes because that's just very quintessentially French. And then also I decided on the purple because the wedding was in Provence, which is well known for its gorgeous lavender fields, which were in bloom when we went last month. However, I am allergic to lavender, so that wasn't great for me. It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous to look at, but as soon as I could smell it, I started to feel ill. So we kind of stayed away from that for the most part. However, I like the color. I like the way that it makes the landscape look, and so I wanted to remember that look in something that my daughter could wear. So yeah, those are the reasons that I chose this project for that trip. And I've done a sleeve, as you can see, and I am working on the bottom. So I think I'm less than half a centimeter away from being able to bind off. I have really enjoyed this construction. Is it like drop shoulder? Is that what that's called? Yeah, for baby knits, for the most part, I mostly do raglan constructions. So this was kind of fun to do something different. This is in the size 2 years or 2 to 3 years, I think. So she can wear it this coming winter, I guess, winter and spring. And yeah, I really just enjoy it. She keeps asking to wear it, and I keep telling her that it's not finished yet, and she keeps asking me when it's gonna be finished. So I'm quite excited that she's excited about it. I think that she'll enjoy wearing it. She always does enjoy wearing the things that I make for her, and she often will say, "Mommy made it for you. Mommy made it for you." when she's wearing something that I made, which is nice. Now that she's old enough to actually just like comprehend that a little bit more. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I want to say about this. I knitted it everywhere in all transportations. I casted it on the airplane ride to France. So it truly was up until like this point. I worked on it all in France, apart from the ribbing, which I've been working on very slowly this past week since coming back to Canada. So yeah, most of it was knitted in France. One of the sleeves will not be knitted in France, but other than that, I'm quite pleased with my progress for the trip. And then when I got back, I decided to quickly just cast on my version, the Olga jacket. So I wanted us to kind of be matching, but not like fully matching. And I don't know if you may recall that I bought this yarn at the Beehive Wool Shop in Victoria when I went there at the beginning of May. And so this is Pure Gint, and the colors are Matcha and Tutti Frutti. Tutti Frutti Speckles, something like that. Hi, I'm back several hours later. We are having a small renovation being done on our house, and the worker who's working on the renovation shows up a lot without letting us know that he's showing up, and so that's what happened earlier. He showed up to work on the window, and I had to stop my filming because there was about to be a lot of loud noise in the room that I was filming in. So now we're in the evening, and things are more still, so I can continue talking about what I wanted to talk about. Anyway, I was discussing the Olga jacket when we were interrupted, and yeah, I have I've done the back and then the front, and I've joined. Now I'm working like back and forth, not in the round because it's a cardigan, but back and forth along all of the stitches. And I have quite a bit of progress done so far. I'm not going to put it on too much onto my body because it is quite warm outside right now. So far I'm really pleased. I really like the color. I like working the stripes. I haven't done anything stripy. This one and then the purple one that you saw previously, I think are like my first proper stripe projects, I think they are, really. Actually, I did a pair of socks several years ago that were striped, but I think other than that, I haven't really done much striping. I am enjoying it. I think it will be really fun to wear. I am really looking forward to wearing it with my daughter. The instructions on this pattern are clear. They're very clear. PetiteKnit is very good at making clear instructions. The only other thing that I am slightly concerned about when it comes to this is that I might be playing yarn chicken, and this is a common theme for me because I don't like having a lot of leftover yarn. But this time it wasn't my fault because I actually did buy all of the skeins of the green color that they had in the shop. So if I don't have enough, which I was going to buy 7 skeins of the green one, and they only had 6. So I bought all the 6 skeins that there were, and I might need an extra one. So hopefully I won't have to order it from somewhere else. This has been my main whip over the past week, but the past couple of days have been very, very hot. When we first got back from France, it was like 18 degrees here, which is perfect. I could knit on anything and be comfortable. I could sit outside and be comfortable. Everything was great. And then today it was 30 degrees, so I decided I wasn't going to work on this today. And we'll see. We'll see if I have the strength to work on it at all in the next few weeks as it gets hotter and hotter. I might need to put it down and then work on it again in like September. Hopefully not, but that is a possibility. Okay, those are my 2 main active whips right now. And then I just want to talk a little bit about our France trip and then the yarn that I bought and the yarn shops that I stopped at. So, there were 3 areas of France that we were in. We started off in Paris, where my friend Elena lives, and they had their civil wedding there, so like their courthouse legal wedding there in Paris, in the district where she lives. And then from there, everyone traveled down south to Provence, and the wedding was just in like it was in a chateau north of Aix-en-Provence. So we were in that area, and we were staying there for a while, for almost a week, I think, and that's where the big wedding happened. And then after the big wedding happened, myself, my husband, my daughter, the bride and groom, and then another one of our friends who are a couple who have a daughter, traveled up to Chamonix in the French Alps, and we went there. So we stayed there for 5 more days, and that part was kind of like a debrief holiday, enjoying a different part of France after all the wedding stuff had been kind of finished off and whatever. So that was like more of just a fun trip. So I visited 3 yarn shops. I had a lot more start on my map than how many I actually visited, but I kind of visited one in each place. And the first one I went to was the Little Weasel, maybe, in Paris. Yeah, Lil Weasel. In Paris, and it was a really, really sweet yarn shop. I did watch quite a few videos about like Paris yarn shops before I went so that I knew which ones were good, and this one was consistently ranked the best from what I saw of people online. So I decided to just pop in there really quick, and they had really lovely selection. I was looking for like specifically sort of French yarns. I did see a lot of like hand-dyed stuff that was quite nice. It was really pretty. There was one skein that I was kind of looking at for a long time, but I try to avoid buying single skeins of really special yarn because I don't end up using them because I'm waiting for the like special project. And I have too many of those types of skeins in my stash already, so I didn't get that one. But I did pick up 4 skeins or balls of the Durarum Natura Ulysse. And yeah, they didn't have a lot of Durarum Natura there, but they had Ulysse and then one other one, I can't remember which, but they had 2 different types. And this is a really soft pink. I don't know if you can really tell. Maybe I need to turn the brightness down. Did that help slightly? It's a really, really soft pink. And I think it will be really pretty for something kind of fluffy for my daughter. I originally was thinking maybe I'd do some sort of Christmas winter sweater for her, like maybe some color work, like a pink and then like a white snowflakey thing on top. I thought that was really pretty when I first bought it, but since purchasing it, I actually think I might do another Currant cardigan by I can't remember her name, but I'll write it down on the side as usual. I actually knitted one of these, the Currant cardigan, for her when she was a baby, and that I think remains my favorite knitted piece that I've ever made for her that she wore. Like, it just suited her really well. It was really beautiful. It was like, it looked intricate, but it wasn't super hard to do. So I've always had it in the back of my mind to kind of do another one like that for her, and I haven't yet. So I think this might go towards that. I did a gauge swatch earlier today, and it seems to meet gauge, although it's very like loose tension, so you can kind of see through it a bit. So I'm not sure if that's quite the look I'm going for, but we'll see. Anyway, this is probably going to go towards that. My swatch is drying right now, so I'll check it once it's all dry and finished. But yeah, so I bought 4 of these at the Little Weasel yarn shop in Paris. And yeah, this wool is like kind of rustic, but also really soft. If you've used it before, then you know. And I kind of can't wait to see how it works up. I think I'm really excited about this one, and I like this sort of soft pink for a knit for her. I think it suits her coloring. Okay, the next yarn shop that I went to was actually quite a surprise. We were driving on our way between Aix-en-Provence and Chamonix. So we rented a car and we drove that length, and it took us about 6 hours in the car total, although we stopped quite a bit because we have a toddler. And yeah, so one of the stops that we made was at this little rest stop. We just had to use the washroom, so we pulled into this rest stop. It was between the towns of Sistron and Grenoble. And we pulled off to the side of the road where this rest stop was, and I went in to use the washroom, and it was a yarn shop on the side of the road, literally at a rest stop on the side of a mountain road. There was this yarn shop there, and I was so excited. It was like 32 degrees outside. My husband was waiting in the car. I ran back in and I said, I'm going to need 10 minutes. I'm not just going pee anymore. So he was a little bit annoyed, but I was like super excited. So I went in and looked around, and it was gorgeous. I could have spent so much time in that shop, especially like with all the translation that's needed for a French yarn shop, especially one out in the countryside where people did, like the owner of the shop didn't speak English very well, and I don't speak French very well. I speak a bit because everybody does in Canada, but like only a little bit. And yeah, so it was very hard to communicate, but I loved that yarn shop. I wish I could have spent a lot more time there. And they had a lot of Angora yarn, a lot of it. And there was like this information board about it, but obviously I couldn't read it, and I didn't want to take the time to translate it because I didn't have a lot of time, so I didn't. I should have taken a picture of it, but I didn't. I was just too excited. But yeah, they had a lot of Angora yarn, which I'd not really seen before. And the fact that they had a lot of it made me think that it was like a local specialty. But again, I don't really know. I tried to ask the lady about it, and she didn't really understand what I was asking her. But I ended up buying some of the Angora. So I bought 3 skeins of this, and it is 70% Angora and 30% Merino. It's incredibly soft, and I bought 3 of it because I intend to make something for a baby. Maybe our own baby if we end up having a second, or someone else's baby, but I think it will go towards like a winter baby knit, and I think 3 will be enough for something substantial. So anyway, that was a great surprise. I was like squealing when I got back to the car, and my husband was kind of like, we need to keep going because we have a lot of driving to do today and it's very hot, and he was a little bit understandably not super pleased that there was a random yarn shop on the side of the road, and I was super excited. So if anybody has any information about this yarn shop or this like fiber specifically, I would love to know some more about it. I will post like a picture of what the outside of the yarn shop looked like, and I've started on my map so I know where it is. Like I've pinned it so I can show you kind of where it is if anybody's interested. But anyways, it was such a cool find. I did not expect that at all. Okay, and then the last yarn shop that I went to, I actually tried to go to a couple more. I thought I was going to go to Marseille because we were quite close to Marseille, and there were quite a few yarn shops there that I wanted to pop into, but we didn't end up going. We didn't have enough time amongst all the wedding stuff that was happening. And then I wanted to go to one in Annecy because we had a day in Annecy, or we had like a day and a half in Annecy. But that yarn shop, for some reason, the hours that it said online were not the hours that it was actually open, or I don't know what was going on, but they were just not open any of the times that I went to go see if they were. So I didn't end up being able to go to that one. But there was a very small yarn shop in Chamonix, and we were staying in a like log cabin type situation at the base of Mount Blanc, and it was just incredible. I think, yeah, I think that the whole Alps area is my favorite area of France that I've been to so far. This was my 3rd trip to France, so I have been to France a few times before this, and the Alps is my favorite. So there's a little yarn shop in Chamonix, and it's like, it was kind of hard for me to find. There was like this big block of building in the middle, and it said it was like somewhere in that building, so I was kind of circling around for a while looking for it, and then I noticed this tiny alleyway, which was kind of covered up with scaffolding at the time that I went. And then there's this tiny knit shop that's just one room. Like it's like the door and then a hallway, like as basically as wide as the door. of just yarn. And on the front door, there was a little sign that said in French, it said, call me when you want to go into the yarn shop. I'm just upstairs. So I phoned the number and I said, I want to come look at your yarn shop. So this woman came down and she was super, super lovely. She said she lived upstairs with her cat and she like owns this little closet of a yarn store. And, anyway, it was really, really nice to chat with her. It was slightly awkward because it wasn't one of those that I could just browse without having to interact with anybody. She was very much like right there looking at what I was looking at. But I did ask her for her local yarn recommendations, and she gave me 2 really, really good recommendations. So I bought 2 different types of yarn. The first type of yarn that I bought is this one, Natassia Pernell. So this is a 100% hemp fiber, and she said that it is grown, spun, processed, everything in France, so it doesn't leave the country at all. And I have never ever worked with hemp fiber before. It does feel very kind of straw-like, not as stiff as straw, like it has a little bit of softness to it, kind of feels a little bit linen-y. But I'm intrigued, so I wanted to give it a go, especially since I am dipping my toes into summer knits this year for the first time ever. I've never really done summer knitting before, so this will be my first go at it this season. So I thought this would be perfect for that specifically. I don't have a specific pattern in mind. I kind of know sort of what I want, but not exactly the right pattern. So anyway, I bought 3 skeins of this, which I think will be definitely enough for like a summer top of some sort. What I'm kind of thinking is like a lacy short-sleeved cardigan type situation. I'm not really a camisole person. I did a ranunculus, which you've seen in my last video, which I took to France with me and did not wear because it was way, way, way too hot to be wearing anything knitted, in my opinion. But so my ranunculus was my first toe dip into summer knitting, and I would like to do some sort of lacy short-sleeved cardigan to wear over dresses or whatever. I mostly wear dresses and overalls, so yeah, one of those. Yeah, if you have any recommendations, please let me know. This does feel quite like sport weight-ish in weight. I don't think it actually says, or maybe it does underneath the label. Anyway, it recommends 3mm needles, so yeah, but if it's lacy, then you can often get away with using, a looser gauge, so a larger needle size. Anyway, I am looking forward to playing around with this a bit. I did actually do a swatch with it already in a really loose gauge just to see how it would lay if it was something really loose and lacy, but all I did was knit it in 6mm needles to see how an airy knit would look in it. And it looks okay. The tension doesn't look super even after blocking, so I'm not sure if maybe the hemp fibers just kind of do that, or it just doesn't agree with loose gauge. I'm not totally sure. I'll play around with it and see what I like about it and what I don't like about it, and then decide based on that what I want to do with the yarn project-wise. If you've used hemp before and you've knitted something summery, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know what you recommend. This is 100% hemp fiber. So, yeah, it's got nothing else in it. But it was a very good recommendation, and I thought I'd give it a go. The other yarn that she recommended to me, which I only bought 1 skein of just as like a special thing, which I know I said I wasn't going to buy any more special skeins, but I have something in mind for this. It's this ball of sheepy sheep wool. So she told me that this is the most local yarn that they have because it comes from the sheep that graze in the valley just on the other side of Mont Blanc in Italy. So technically not from France, but there is a tunnel that runs underneath Mont Blanc between France and Italy, because the mountain, it's the highest mountain in the Alps, and it's right on the border between France and Italy. And yeah, you can take the tunnel, and it doesn't take very long to get there. She said that if you were flying from Chamonix to where the sheep come from, it's straight across, it's 10 kilometers. So that's super close. It takes a little bit longer to actually travel that distance, but yeah, so 10 kilometers away, the sheep that graze in the valley on the south side of Mont Blanc in Italy. And I thought that was just really, really lovely. She says that she's met the sheep and they're nice sheep, and they're well taken care of. So she did recommend this yarn, and it's an undyed wool. And so I bought one skein of it, and I think I'm going to do something like Cloudburst mitts for the winter time. I own that pattern, but I haven't knitted it before. This yarn is spun in a sort of chainette style, you can kind of see. So that'll be interesting, and it will make it kind of nice and fluffy. It already is nice and fluffy, but that chainette way of spinning makes it ever so much more fluffy, in my opinion. So I am looking forward to this. I'm going to be working on it in the autumn, I think, because, yeah, it feels like a very cozy, something cozy to work on in like October. So I think I'm just going to save it until then. But yeah, that's all the yarn that I purchased while I was in France. I am very pleased with this haul. I'm pleased with the amount of different things, like the differences that I was able to find. Like, I have the pink wool that's like Durare Natura. Everyone, most people know which brand that is. It's like a well-known French brand. And then this wool, which is just doesn't even have a label. It's just from the local sheep on the other side of the mountain. And then my hemp, which I've never worked with before, and then the Angora, which I've never worked with before. So it's a very good variety of things to play with in the coming months, and just special to remember our trip by. That is everything that I wanted to talk to you about today. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for putting up with my change of scenery halfway through. That was definitely unplanned. So yeah, thank you so much for everything that you've given this channel.